Hello and welcome to the Creative Careers and AI podcast. I am your host, Jo Samuel. Today we're joined by freelance virtual world builder for cinematics, 3D and VR, Chris Cordwell. Chris has been a freelance creative for over 20 years, initially working at the Beeping Bush production company, where he and his business partner Mick Etherton created the legendary 2 Days Later horror film competition which ran for over 10 years. More recently, Chris has turned his attention to building virtual worlds for cinematics and games. Welcome to the show, Chris. Thanks for popping in for a chat.
Oh, thank you, Jo. Yes, thanks for inviting me.
So to kick us off, would you be able to tell us a little bit about your creative process?
Yeah, of course. Yes, I'm creating a story world universe, and from these stories, I create short story episodes. Now, these are ranging from cinematics to 3D generation and crossing over to short stories and VR. So the process can usually seem like it comes from concept building, story writing, script writing, going through to storyboarding and previs, straight through to 3D production and cinematics.
Wow, so that's a really kind of long workflow that you have.
Yeah, because it covers multiple streams. Each medium has a different voice. So in, let's say, short story form, if you're telling a story, you are doing it from the person's point of view, and you can reiterate that in the writing. But if you're doing cinematics, of course, it's more visual as a medium. So trying to do this transmedia of this universe, short stories, sending it out there, creating the content, but also then hopefully down the line, getting other people to sort of play in that universe as well.
So that's a lot of different disciplines that you're using in your workflow. Have you seen a lot of changes in regards to AI development over the last couple of years?
Yeah, I suppose in the industry, I think you're seeing a shift from experimentation in AI to sort of more perhaps agentic and autonomous applications and integrated systems within workflows. I mean, from my point of view, rather than just dabbling with AI and exploring its uses, I'm now finding ways to integrate it within my own workflows. So whether that be concept creation, I still use it as perhaps just as a tool rather than letting AI lead my creative vision, for want of a better word. I'm using it as a tool to facilitate and explore concepts. So, and then also on the other side of that, to help me write, to build the infrastructure there. For example, I got AI to help me build several interlinking databases within that so that I could explore not just the story world that I was creating, but I could also get a structure to what I needed to do and when, but also develop what needs to be done and when. So it was, again, it's more of an assistant than to me at the moment.
Mm-hmm. As AI is an assistant to you, as you say, you're still using all the traditional creative kind of skills that you've built up over the years of your career. So in terms of 3D models, you're still using Blender and that sort of thing?
Yes. Yeah, definitely. I think those skills, those principles that we all got taught when we're at university are still so important. I mean, that's how you can evaluate what you're doing. Mm-hmm. So you still use those principles and to guide you, even if you're using AI. AI is really just to explore more. Yeah. It's another tool set. So you've got obviously imagination, you're looking at other resources, as I said before. And it's just a way of perhaps going off kilter a little bit. Certainly for me, it might come up with some of the generations that I do will perhaps go, oh, I hadn't thought about it in that direction. And it leads me then through a door, and it's up to me then to explore and build on that. So really, it's a stepping stone to get to your creative vision, as opposed to perhaps, oh, here's a prompt, I generate this is my creative vision.
So what software do you use to create the worlds? Is it Unreal that you use?
Well, it's quite a mixture of things, as you would probably expect. Unreal Engine is where the world, is created and generated. But to get to that first, obviously I'm using Reallusion's Character Creator 5, iClone for the character side of things and generation and the animation. And then I use Blender to create the other 3D assets, the landscape and the environments. Also, I use Notion a lot. It helps me structure my ideas. It helps me, that's where I do my writing as well. As I say, that's the databases that AI helped to create are all structured in there as well. So that's an integration. And then really, AI is now just, you get multifaceted workflows to help with different ideas. Mm-hmm. So that you don't just use one model and one AI. You just find it helping you with all different facets, from image generation to animation to even sound effects and voice cloning.
How much do you think that it helps speed up your workflow?
Yes. Good question. I'm finding there's, with the experimentation, refining. I think it's reiteration and refining your workflows. And I think at the start, as I said before, it isn't just a single prompt, single generation. Here it is. Thank you very much. It is more of a complex process. You're crafting prompts, workflows to integrate and work together with your traditional workflow processes. That takes a little bit of time to set up. Can have teething problems. But once you get there, once you have refined that workflow, then you see the results. Then you see how quickly you can process things. You know, if you want to change the textures to an item, you can get AI to help you facilitate much quicker than spending a few hours yourself painting it, those textures.
Okay.
So I am seeing benefits, and it does speed up elements of it. Of course, it depends on how far you're willing to refine those processes to begin with.
You mentioned teething problems there. Can you give us some examples of any problems you might have had along the way?
Well, yes. I think if you're looking to do like one-off generations, I think you can strike it lucky. You can just put your prompt in and then you get your result. But if you're trying to look for character or scene consistency across, like, let's say, a cinematic or a short story, then there are discrepancies, then our hallucinations will start coming in. And even simple direction will sometimes go wrong. For example, I was trying to do turnarounds for characters. And I said, and I put it in my prompt, I want this character and turn around from face to the behind, so we see the back. And then, of course, the body turned one way and the legs turned another.
Oh,
so that looked really, really weird. But yes, then you just go back to your prompting and you can refine and you can get the whole body to turn in the direction that you want. Other times you could be creating a scene, and over a video generation, perhaps you're, as I do, you want to look at the previs. How would this, play out? How would this story work? This little section. So you do a video generation, but then the AI will hallucinate. If you're in a kitchen, for example, and a person crosses the room, and then suddenly the fridge turns into an oven, or it will turn into a those things. Again, it's refinement. It's also you're trying to introduce control nets as well, so to cut down on this. Also, again, for the databases, I tried to get AI, Claude, this was, to help facilitate, build several databases that interlink on Notion to help me build my universe. But it would start well, and I could get it interacting with Notion, and it would start building the databases, but then it would freak out or hallucinate, and it just wouldn't do exactly as I envisaged. So I ended up building the databases from scratch. But what AI did help there was actually show me the door of how I could build it. And I don't think I would have been able to go and create those databases and them to work as well as they did without the AI giving me an example of how to do it.
So that's really interesting that you need to have a good awareness of AI and how to manipulate it to get the things that you want. You really have to work at it. It's not as easy as just kind of do this for me and it's continuous. There's a lot of issues, it sounds like.
That's where experimentation and exploration in the medium really helps. Is to learn the shortcomings. It's a tool at the end of the day. It can't think for you. Mm-hmm. So you need to still have a creative vision. It will certainly help you if you had a creative vision. And I think that kind of helps and hinders you at the same time, because you've got this idea and you're then trying to tailor AI to get closer to that creative vision. However, as I say, that's why the prompt one-stop generation, it's great for a one-off, but if you're doing a series, let's say you're doing a comic, for example, and you want, consistency across the frames is quite important. And storytelling, any form of storytelling for that matter, consistency of character and environment, then yes, it's a lot more difficult. It's not impossible, but it does take a little bit of work, and therefore, explore and experiment with workflows. You will find you'll need, like 3D, for example, you don't do everything in Blender. You can, of course you can, and I'm not saying you can't, but you might use ZBrush to sculpt. You might use Substance Painter to do the texture side. You don't have to use those programs, but those programs are good at one job. AI models are exactly the same. They are good. You'll find that Qwen's very good at editing. You will find, this is more for comfy UI, you'll find like Nano Banana Pro is also another good for editing, whereas Dance 2 is going to be very good for video generation. So it's learning what each model does and then incorporate it into your workflows and creative process.
Well, so there's a lot of different AI tools that you use in your workflow. How much percentage do you think is AI and how much is not AI in the workflow that you have now?
I think at the moment, 20% is probably about AI, and then 80% is more traditional methods and principles. But that could change. That could, Dane, you're finding that 3D packages, not that, any of the creative packages are incorporating AI processes within their workflows. So where, if it's a filter or if it's an image generation within Photoshop, Premiere, we can all name the big ones that are incorporating these AI processes more and more. So again, that would only be a small percentage, but that's going to grow, I'm sure, over the next 12 months. So at the end of the day, I see it, as I say, as an assistant. It helps me with about 20% of my workflow. But as I'm learning it, as I'm experimenting it and building workflows more and tools, then great, I think that might become more and more. And hopefully then that will, of course, speed up my workflow, and that means I can produce more.
So you mentioned there how you think the growth of AI and different tools will develop more and more over the next 12 months. Yeah, I agree with you. Yeah, I think the development is inevitable. But I also think it's quite difficult to predict just how quickly and to what level creative AI will continue to develop over the course of, say, the next 5 or 10 years. So as educators, we really need to ensure that students are coming through their creative courses with the skills needed to adapt to this dynamic environment with confidence. So I wonder, do you have any advice you can give tutors to help them future-proof students who are interested in a career in either virtual world building or more broadly in a career in media production?
I think introduce AI processes. We can't forget that AI is just a tool. So therefore, I think maybe best bet is to start with something like Comfy UI, which is free, open source, and just get students to sort of kind of play with it, experiment, explore that, and start trying to build workflows that may tailor to their creative process. Comfy UI can explore not just image generation, video, it can create sound and audio as well. So depending on whether you're podcasting, your image generation, or you're a filmmaker, you can use Comfy UI, open source, free, to explore ideas. And I think that might be an interesting way to go. You build with nodules. It's all with nodes that you connect together to create an output. For anyone, I think at a university, explore and build those workflows. You'll get an idea of how AI works and also what it can do and what it can't do.
So you think that it's a good idea for tutors to teach the students a variety of AI tools as well to help them prepare for the industry?
I think it's one string to the bow.
Yeah.
AI is one string to the bow. There is always going to be design, artistic, filmmaking principles that we've all learned, the theory side and practice. They are, of course, the most important thing going forward. Storytelling and narrative structure is also really important as well. And creative vision. But it's just use AI to facilitate those things, to facilitate your creative vision and ideas and bring them to life.
Thanks, Chris. So do you have any final advice for any creative students listening in?
Yeah, certainly. So just remember that although AI can generate content, it can't really design coherent worlds. It can't story build, can't really tell emotional, connecting stories. That's where our skills come in as a human, those ability to storytell. And that's where I think students need to position themselves really, that you're not competing with AI. You are using it to explore your creative endeavours.
Oh, that's great advice. Thanks, Chris. And thank you for coming in to chat with us today. It's been really interesting.
Oh, thank you very much for having me, Jo.
Join us next time at the Creative Careers in AI podcast.